Good morning and welcome to a non-pixelated Tim show. This is the Investing Bros. We have a cure for our problem. It does come at a cost. I'll give you a little bit more on that in just a second, but we got a lot to talk about in today's show. Gary Gensler himself has said that Ethereum is not a security. Yeah, maybe he didn't use the words exactly, but we're going to show you a video later on in the show where it is shown that Gary Gensler admitted that Ethereum is not a security. Yes, was that a little bit of a clickbait title? Maybe, but it's not a false statement. We'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. We also have some bullish news for Bitcoin mining. Not only are we sitting at high hash rate levels, which usually are bullish for Bitcoin price, we also are having out of Pennsylvania the launching of the first nuclear Bitcoin mining plant. We will talk about that and a whole lot more in this video. So make sure, A, you don't go anywhere. B, you smash that like button. And C, if this is your first time joining us, thank you so much for choosing us this morning. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more content that we come to you guys daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single weekday to give you everything you need to know for your investing journey. Like I said, I am not pixelated this morning, so it's a great morning. It feels nice, but the cost came at I no longer have Mr. T-Shroom sitting across the desk from me. Instead, he is joining us from his news station. T-Shroom, how are you doing this morning?
Tim, I'm doing really, really well. Great to be in this new studio. They let me borrow for a little while. I don't know how long I'll be here, but, I'm doing better than I deserve now, that's for sure. It is good to see you in such crystal clear HD. I'm enjoying it, and I'm sure our audience is too. But I do have a quote for us this morning. It's actually one that we've read before, but here it is. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And that comes from the man, the myth, the legend, there, Winston Churchill. So we've read it before, but it was a goodie. It's an oldie but goodie.
It is good. It is good. Old Winston Churchill, like that man. We're also joined by Mr. Army Piper himself. How are you doing this morning, Army?
Brother, I'm doing fantastic. And check this out. I got something to show you guys. I got a little something here. Yep. Hold on 1 second.
It's a bar of gold. It's a live chicken.
I couldn't
What is
reach
gonna
it.
be?
I had to reach over here. Check this out. Check it out what we got today.
Ooh, the Chart Prime Tea, fresh.
And on the back, respect the pump.
There you go.
So I'm doing wonderful. We got T-shirts. We're going to be handing those out at Consensus 2023, and it's going to be a great time. So great show. Nobody's pixelated. T-Shroom is broadcasting from his new studio, news studio, and we're doing fantastic today, man.
Yeah, and today you guys will be able to see it in crystal clear. We're going back to Bubbly Bounce Citrus Cherry. Now you guys can read it. I was never lying to you. It was citrus cherry. I do think orange cream soda was my favorite flavor of the Bubblies. Next week I might have some new flavors as well. But citrus cherry, not a bad secondary option. It comes up again, number 2 for this week. So if you guys, someone asked yesterday where you can go buy citrus cherry, at your local Publix if you live in the South, and I'm sure a local a grocery store might be carrying it as well if you guys are Bubbly fans. We are sponsored by them for the price of zero nothingness. They pay us that every week now that they are an unofficial sponsor of the channel. So show some love to old Bubbly if you want. We're going to jump in here and read some names in just a second, but I want to give a special shout out to Caleb Franzen in chat. Thank you so much, man, for joining us. We got to get you on here again really soon. We should be having some great guests here in the next couple of weeks, and you should be one of them. Let's read the names in chat this morning because we do have a special name at the top of the list, and that is Miss Gia S. with the first comment of the day. Wow. So congratulations to Gia. Love to see it. Not that we don't love everybody.
I called her First Lady today. First Lady
First
Gia.
Lady.
Yes.
Listen, I love every single person in this chat, and I love when people come and comment first, but I love Gia S. She is amazing. Coming in right behind her was Mike Play, so shout out to him for being second as well. Who else do we have here, though, today? We got Philly Skills 1428 saying, yo, what's up? Mellow Fellow is here. Little later than normal, a Mellow Fellow, but good to see you in chat. Eric Wallen is here. Elliot Locke is here as well. Who else do we got? Ninja Glock is here. Thomas Hanks saying GM gentlemen. Eric Wallen, I think I said Eric Wallen's here. Al Bundles is here. Speaking of other bots, glad to see you in here, Al Bundles. Legends Have It is here. Oh, that's good to know. Good to know. Legends Have It. Army Piper with the blue wrench is in the chat as well. Wind Peoples is here. Mike Lowry is here. Bob, good morning to you, Bob. Crux of Crypto with the blue wrench is representing this morning. Crypto Ben Franklin is here. Crypto JMP is here. Crimson Caravan Company. Grand Roofing Incorporated. Who else do we have? Cryptex with the blue wrench is in the building. Pack Bandits. Ooh, Pack Bandits. That's a new one too. We got a couple newer names that I don't get the privilege of reading all the time. Oh, look at that. Kelly Kellum in chat. We got two absolute studs in Caleb Franzen and Kelly Kellum sitting in the chat this morning. Make sure, guys, I know that right now we're still running at 10:30. So as much as I love Kelly, watch the rest of our show and then go join him like 15, 20 minutes late. But then when we transition back to like an hour, you guys know that Kelly Kellum runs the BitLab Academy show right after us. Make sure you guys, if you guys want more crypto updates and just want to continue on with your great morning, you go over and support that show as well. Who else do we have here? And we're going to get into our content for the day. Quarter Crawler is here. There's a good amount of names I don't feel like we've read before in the opening. Steve Ramos is here. V Slim is here. Tree City West is here. Who else do we got? We got a couple more. V Slim, Sir. We read this one, but I always mess it up. Sir Mugiwara, probably messing it up. Omar CRS, Alton Henderson. I believe that might have just David Sandberg. Sorry, David, almost missed you there. I believe I just read everyone's name in chat. You know it's a good morning. OBC, I might have missed that one. I think I got everybody else, though. If I did not say your name, it is not because I don't love you. It is just time to go ahead and jump into the content. Philly Skills 1428, I definitely read your name, but you get a second one for saying me. Love you guys. We're going to start off by jumping into our economic outlook with Mr. Army Piper himself. So, Piper, what are we looking at this morning for the next couple of days, maybe next couple of weeks that could be important for the space?
All right, Tim. So this morning we had early this morning. This would be 12 a.m. my time. This would be 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when this came out. Great Britain came out with their retail sales. And as you guys know, our retail sales that we had come out here in the U.S. Were lower. And I said that was a good thing for inflation, right? Well, we're also seeing the same thing happened here in the UK. Great Britain this morning, month over month, was consensus and forecast of being down 0.5%, came in at 0.9% down. So that means that demand is going down there in Great Britain for retail sales. Year over year was down 3.1%. That is pretty substantial. Not as high as last month, but did beat its forecast. So pretty substantial there.
Very, very nice.
So I don't see much else going on for the day. Like, it's just a lot of little things, but that's pretty much it. So
yeah, we'll do our check-in here in just a second with other things. I'm hearing, I don't know what the heck is happening outside of my door. It sounds like Beamer's like scooting around like a bowl or something. So I might have to go get that from him here in just a second. He's got to be part of the show. We all know him and love him. It's Beamer. He's a trading expert, but also has a way of, when I don't let him come onto the show, he's like, I'm going to make my way in there anyway.
He's even in the outro video. He's in the outro song now. So
you just can't have a good show without Beamer making his presence known. We're getting a little bit more confidence here from the Fed rate tool that's predicting what we're going to see in May. We still have 12 days, so still about 2 weeks until we get the FOMC meeting. But they did raise a little bit yesterday. After 2 days in a row of 86%, it's now looking at 87% chance that we're going to be getting 25 basis points. Now, I will say, I put there in Q&A. This is the first time I've done this with Q&A. You guys can go click on it, post in there as well. Even though I think you're supposed to be asking a question, I want you guys to go over there and give a hot take. It doesn't mean you're necessarily giving a prediction. You're just kind of saying, hey, watch this summer something happen big. Maybe next couple of days, maybe next couple of weeks, watch something happen. I'm going to start off by letting you know my hot take. I'm watching this, and I'm not necessarily saying it's definitely going to happen, but watch here over the next 12 days. Something breaks, some news story breaks, and we end up not doing 25 basis points. We end up pausing, and the prices of cryptos go back up. I'm not necessarily predicting with certainty it's going to happen, but when you get used to this and you're watching the charts and you're watching these things, we're about to jump onto the charts and look at that for a second. You start to get this inkling, this like tingling feeling of like, this is what the charts are telling me. This is what the future should look like, but the news isn't really going that direction. We're about to get a bombshell drop that changes the entire dynamic of how people feel about the market. So, my hot take for today is that something between now and the next 12 days causes the FOMC to pause interest rates. Let me know if you guys agree with that hot take. What is your hot take, maybe for the next couple of days or even the rest of the summer? Keep moving on here, though. We do have the fear and greed index for Bitcoin down just a little bit more this morning after yesterday being in the neutral zone at 52. We're now sitting at 50. Again, this is actually, I would say, in a long run, kind of good. The last time we were at 50 on this level was all the way back here on the 17th of March. If we were to go back to Bitcoin's price here, 17th of March, where are we right here? Boom. The price of Bitcoin was sitting below 25,000. So depending on where we were in that day, we started the day off at 24.4, finished the day up around 25.1. Either way, we're sitting at the exact same levels on the fear and greed index, despite the fact that the price is about $3,000 higher at the moment. So I'm actually looking at this right now as still being in the bullish side of things for Bitcoin. I'm going to do some really quick Bitcoin TA, but of course, today's video is mostly about Ethereum. We're going to talk about that in the news section, but I'm going to throw it to Piper when we get to Ethereum. So really quickly, let's touch on Bitcoin. As we said yesterday, we are very short-term bearish right now. I kind of hit on this in the bro time that we had yesterday afternoon. If you guys are wondering what the heck is bro time, that is for our Patreon members over in our Discord, our gold and diamond members. They get to be a part of a stream Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We just chill. We talk about the markets. We talk about life. It's always a lot of fun. But I was explaining to people, sometimes, every influencer gets backlash, but people will get upset like, oh, Tim, are you bullish? Are you bearish? You're this perma-bull. It's all about timeline. It's all about where you're looking at. Of course, if I were to go out to like a weekly chart, and I were to scroll back through the history of Bitcoin's price, let's go log chart because it makes it more evident. I'm a bull when it comes to the long term. When it comes to the macro, just look at this, guys. I mean, we are moving up and to the right. Do we have some dips in here? Yes, but Bitcoin is going to continue to go up and to the right. So if you're talking about, Tim, what is your position on years? We're looking bullish. Bitcoin is looking very bullish. If you start looking at even maybe the next couple of months, I'm kind of a mixture. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a bull trend, and then we're gonna kind of cool off and come back down to the downside. If you're talking about the next couple of weeks, I'm very bullish. If you're talking about the next couple of days, I'm actually very bearish. Even right now on the shorter timeline, I'm just looking at these things. I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but in case you guys missed the show or there's just a lot of chaos that happened yesterday that maybe I wasn't able to fully communicate this. But we on these shorter time frames, like the 1 hour and the 4 hour, are definitely sitting in a bear trend. The bears have control right now. They are pushing the space to the bottom. How do we know this, though? Well, you might be wondering, Tim, what makes you say the bears are in control? Well, one of my favorite indicators to use is oscillators, the RSI, but I really love the chart prime oscillator, just all the information it gives. And what I've noticed here is since we peaked out over here and we had a little bit of kind of sideways action going on, but look at all of the bullish flashes, the times where it was flashing oversold or bullish divergence. Notice that back here, these stopped being good calls. And then we have a very good call right here of overbought with the red triangle paired with some bearish divergence that called that peak nicely. And now we're starting to move into a phase where we're getting the oversold indicators again, but the price keeps moving to the downside. Now, this is the hourly chart. Hourly charts really only have significance for the next couple of days at the most. But what I am seeing right now is the bears are in control. The bottom will come. We will reverse back to the upside. But for right now, there went from being almost this wrestling match on the hourly chart where neither the bulls nor the bears really were taking full control to now the bears are absolutely in control. So the question is, where are we looking to the downside? You guys will notice, looking here at the RSI, we are starting to bottom out, which means we are coming to a place where the bulls are at least going to mount a little bit of a defense, and they're going to kind of stop the bleeding. This does not mean that the price is done going down, because we could continue just have these RSIs continue to bounce down and stay at this flat level, but the price keeps moving to the downside. That's where we kind of bring in here this little yellow box I have right here. And I believe that we could come all the way down to about 27,200. I believe this is a very interesting level to keep your eyes on for a couple of reasons. First of all, and I'm not going to go back to it. If you guys want to go back and watch yesterday's show, I discussed back in 2019, we made an almost identical move. You can also go to my Twitter at Tims_TA. I made a post about this yesterday where we could see very clearly that we are making almost identical moves. But back in 2019, after moving kind of sideways after a good bullish push, we had one last wick before a very slight bullish momentum, right? And then the price ends up coming back down to that wick. So if we were to repeat it perfectly, we're going to see the price potentially come all the way back down to about 27,200. Wow. Did something just happen to my camera again, Piper?
No, looks good to me.
No, it looks fine.
All right, good. My YouTube feed makes it look like it's blurry, but we're going to keep moving on here. Some other things, though, that I'm looking at here, and we're about to switch over into Ethereum. So if you guys are super excited about that, keep that coming. It's coming in just a second. Let's look right here at Fibonacci levels that we have going on. Let's go all the way to what is currently the bottom of the bear market, and I believe will continue to be the bottom of the bear market. And let's go up to this most recent peak. Look at how our 0.236 level is coming in right at that exact same spot. We also will see, if I were to pull up our predictive ranges here using Chart Prime, I got to come in here and turn them on. So give me just 1 second. There we go. Enable predictive ranges. And I come back down to the 4-hour chart. You guys will notice that we're also sitting the level, our lowest level of predictive ranges here for the 4-hour chart is sitting right on the top side of this yellow line, about 27,600. So we got a lot of support lines coming in with confluence with that historical kind of fractal, I guess is the best way to put it, that if we keep repeating the same way we've been repeating 2019 here for a couple of weeks, if that fractal continues, expect a price somewhere in the region of 27.6, 27.2, and then we're going to bounce and we're going to continue to the upside. And remember, I've said this before, back in 2019, we saw Bitcoin rally 85% over a matter of 16 days. So anyone who's saying, oh, no, Tim, that's just rough. That I don't know if we have enough time left. Like usually we're bearish when the Bitcoin conference comes in. The Bitcoin conference is still like 20 something days away. We still have plenty of time for some downwards and even a little bit of sideways movement before Bitcoin takes off. And again, this is where I come back into my hot take, guys. I'm not necessarily saying a prediction, but it's just this inkling. I'm looking at the charts. I'm watching how price is moving. I'm looking at the locations, and I'm like, you know what would make a whole lot of sense is something that none of us are really ready for right now, but some sort of story is going to break that is going to switch the mind of a lot of the people that predict what the interest rate's going to be, maybe even sways the opinion of people within the Fed. And there's going to be a temptation to say, you know what, actually, we cannot raise interest rates anymore. We need to go ahead and pause for the sake of the economy. That would be a catalyst into a very explosive movement. And then, of course, here later on in May, when we do have our Bitcoin conference 2023, that's when we'll see Bitcoin top out and start to come back down to the downside. I'm not 100% certain what all of that will look like. I don't know what that story is going to be. I don't know what date it's going to be, but there's just this feeling, especially going back and looking at history, even looking at the charts and reading them, every single thing we're seeing come in with confluence. I have this feeling that we're going to see something surprise us here very, very soon, and the bulls will take back over control. And then last thing I'll say there, don't get swept up in it all. I think it's going to be a very explosive, very bullish movement that's going to have a lot of retail investors convinced that the bull market is back on and we're going to hit new highs. Don't fall for it. We are not going for new highs. This is where my bearish sentiment kind of comes in. I do believe we have further to go to the upside, but I do not believe the bull market is here. I still think that we will have prices closer towards 25,000 still on the table later this year that you can be buying some Bitcoin. That is your Bitcoin TA and hot take of the day. I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Piper, Army Piper, to take over some Ethereum TA. But before we do that, make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button. We have well over 100 people watching the stream today. Thank you to every single last one of you, but we only have 45 likes. That's not a good ratio. Click that like button right now, and we're going to continue on with the show. Piper, why don't you go ahead and take it away? What are you seeing over on the Ethereum chart this morning?
My future retirement. That's what I'm seeing over here,
Hey.
Tim. So taking a look here, guys, we did have a possible reversal down that printed. I'm looking at a 12-hour on Ethereum right now, the Coinbase chart. We did have that print. Obviously, could not ever get back up above this level. Had a little liquidity grab from that wick right there. Let me bring that into line so you can see it. There we go. Let me remove that. You'll see a little wick up above this previous area, grab that liquidity, and that was the last time that we were able to hit that high, and that high brought us in at $21.42, $2,142, so almost $2,143. But what I'm watching for here, guys, I got a couple of things to show you. First off, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart patterns here. We had a chart pattern breakout on a broadening wedge here. Tim likes to talk about these broadening wedges a lot. We had a little breakout right here, gave us a confirmed breakout with that X. This was the breakout target that it gave when it printed this X, and that is exactly where we hit, guys. So why am I pointing this out? Because we're back down into it again now, and it is very possible, as you can see in this entire period right here, that there seems to be this other range of a trend line in here running right along, right in there, that area, where this keeps turning around and comes back out again. It is very possible this could do that. Just to show you one thing here, and let's go over here, and I want to show you this former head and shoulders pattern that it printed in our chart pattern indicator. It actually, let me grab a trend line here and show you from the head of the thing right there we go, and then down to the line, and let's go ahead and move this and see where this breakout would have taken us. Yep, it was the bottom right there too, so which was the bottom of our wedge. So very powerful indicator, the chart prime patterns indicator is, and it very high accuracy rate. So if we do get another breakout here, I'm going to be curious to see what happens with it. Are we going to continue to another bounce here and go higher? But let's take a look and see how low we can go, because right now, as you can see, my Bitcoin back here, little red, I'm a little bearish today. I'm feeling a little bearish, Tim. If we go in and we take a look here, we can see first off that the oscillator is still pointing down, starting to get a little curve on it, but not much. We do have a little leveling out on the RSI, but I do think that it's going to continue back down also. And if I go ahead and I take a look at the MACD, you can see that the histogram's still in the bright red, starting to get a little flat on these last two candles here, so maybe we can start warming back up, get into this light pink color that happens afterwards. But right now, not really getting much curvature on the MACD line to even show that it could be crossing back over the signal line. So let's throw on some mid fibs here. This is the fibs got to go all the way back to, and let me turn off this chart patterns. There we go. This is going all the way back to the high that we had on August of 2022 down to our bottom low. And if you take a look, the big fight that we had for a long time that I kept pointing out to you guys was when we were fighting against the platinum pocket here, trying to get out of the platinum pocket, and then also trying to get into the platinum pocket. So what I have going on here that I can show you is we just came back into our platinum pocket. Let me go ahead and bring this down, zoom it in a little bit, give it a little zoomy. There we go. And you can see we broke through after testing it multiple times, about a day and a half. Now we're below it, and it looks like we're going to try to come up and test that 886 line on the platinum pocket. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. I hope we can. But I've got a couple of other things, and then I will pass it over here. It is going to be the fixed range volume profile. And this is why I feel so bearish right now. If we look at the fixed range volume profile going all the way back to that high point that I was talking about, where we broke down through this level here, that's where I started it at. We came back, we broke below this wick, and bam, this started into this entire period of time. Our value area high is sitting at about 1621. And what that is everything between this value area high and this value area low. This is 70% of all of the volume that took place in this entire period going all the way back to May of 2022. Okay, so for the past year, our value area high is sitting at 1621. Our point of control, which is where the biggest volume structure was at in the price action, is all the way down at 1215, Tim. So, Yeah, I would have to see some things flip around here. I mean, we can take a look at a couple other things. Like right now, we're looking here at the Smart Money Concepts bundles predictive ranges. We're below our upper support range, and remember, majority of our price action falls between here. Matter of fact, let's throw that fixed volume range profile and see. Yep, it's going to be the point of control almost at the lower trade band. So I'm feeling a little bearish. I don't think it's going to come all the way down here. I would like to see, I would like to think that this dynamic reactor is going to be more than strong enough to give it the support that we need, Tim. Give us that support, and maybe let's throw on this fib here. Yeah, it's going to be coming really close with this upper trade band somewhere here with the golden pocket and this fib. So maybe this fib, we go a little bit sideways here. This fib line at the 786 of the bottom platinum pocket, which we now know is very strong support. We retested it here already. Maybe that's where we get into this dynamic reactor coming up, converging here, and that is where we get the 786 and the dynamic reactor to keep us strong above 1800.
Yeah, that's exactly we're on the same page. I was about to say, like, I think again we kind of talked about the Bitcoin pullback. We're looking at around ranges of lower 27,000, so we can still lose. What is Bitcoin currently at? 28.2. We can still lose about $1,000 on Bitcoin. We can see a 27,200. Ethereum, I'm looking at that level right there on 1824. Like you just kind of highlighted right there. That's the bottom of that wick that we had back on April 8th. The 12-hour dynamic reactors making our way back up there. If we were to pull up, I guarantee you, if we were to pull up and play with Fibonacci, we're going to see levels be very close to that as well. Technically, it's not right there, but we got that 0.382 level. If you go back to the bottom back in March, you're going to see 0.382 is sitting right above. Let's go back to the bottom that we had back here in November, though. Let's even stretch it out to a longer time frame. And you're going to see it falls in the middle of the 0.236, 0.382. So not necessarily having the confluence of an exact point on Fibonacci, but some of you guys know using Fibonacci, even though we love looking at the points 0.236, 0.382, 0.5, middles of those zones are also very important because it still just has to do with standard deviations moving away and all the Fibonacci stuff. Not going to go into a Fibonacci lesson today because that would take me way too long. But I'm keeping my eyes on Ethereum right here at 1828. With the last couple of minutes here, I did just see somebody, I think Elliot Locke said, hey, Tim, I know we did TA on ADA yesterday, but can you look at it really, really quickly? Absolutely, I can. This is one that you guys know I'm a big fan of, Cardano. Something that I will pull up here, and we use different indicators all the times. You guys can always go back. When you guys purchase Chart Prime, you can play. There's so many things that Piper and I cannot get into every single indicator for every single coin every single day. But if you guys purchase it and go and play around, you can find a lot of really cool things happening here. Using Cardano, let's go down here to the 4-hour chart. I believe it's 4-hour chart. Yeah, we have an order block sitting right here at about 38.7 cents. It's one that's very, very interesting. There's another one all the way down at 34, but that's not necessarily what I'm looking at. I believe the daily chart, we have one too. Yeah, so this is what I'm kind of looking at right here. This zone and this order block sitting between about 39.21, the middle point's 38.45, and then the lowest it gets to is the 37. That's also another, before we made a good push with Cardano, we had a wick coming down here all the way to 37. Last thing I was going to say here, what was that? I do believe here, let me take this and put this down. I believe there's a key level when it comes to Fibonacci here on Cardano as well, kind of in that region. Yeah, right there. So our 0.382 level, if we were to go all the way down to the bottom, down here to when we were below 24 cents, go all the way back up here to the top of this this most recent peak, we're getting the 0.382 level down here at 37 cents. So on Cardano, everybody, again, I think the crypto space in general, I think the market, the way things are flowing right now, things are moving to the downside for the next couple of hours, possibly next couple of days. What I'm looking at on Cardano is around 37, 38 cent region revisit. And again, it's going to stop it's going to stop the momentum of these higher highs and higher lows. It's going to come back down. But what it could really be, guys, and this is something you should keep your eyes on for sure with both Ethereum and Cardano and Bitcoin, if we come back down here and we hit this same line and we hit a double wick, guess what that is? That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a double bottom. Well, you got to wait for a breakout to continue, but what you are looking for, if you were to break up and move to the upside, is whatever this length is. If you can break through the former resistance, I'm going to go and just pause right there. You take the distance of this little move and then you double it over, and that could be a double bottom breakout. This would give us a Cardano price prediction all the way up here towards 54 cents. If we were to do the same thing on Ethereum over here, this would give us a prediction for if we do double bottom here on Ethereum. Keep your eyes on it, because these are the levels we're talking about. This would give us a price prediction all the way up here at about 24.78. We've talked about the significance of 2,400 before as well. So again, these are things here. I got to move that down just a little bit. These are things that you guys should be keeping your eyes on. That yes, are we in the short term hourly chart, 4-hour chart? Do we have further go to the downside? Are the bears in control? Absolutely, they are. But when you zoom out and you start looking at the daily chart and you start to take some things into real perspective, there's still a lot of bullish momentum left for this rally. It's not over. It's not time to just go ahead and throw the towel in. Although I will be honest with you guys, it's going to get hard. The news is going to make it really, really hard on you. The price is going to go down. The bears, who have kind of been in hibernation here recently, are going to start waking up, and they're going to be all over Twitter and all over YouTube and all over the place saying, I told you so, new bottom coming. And again, I cannot promise you with certainty, but there's still this, if you're just looking at the charts and you're taking the data, there's just still some momentum left this shift. But if I was a whale and if I had the power to manipulate you as a retail investor, and if that was the type of person I was, would that not be a perfect strategy? Is to try to put as much FUD and stuff in the market to convince you that this rally is over so that I can buy up some good prices, go run this price up, Bitcoin to 50K, Ethereum to 3,600, Cardano to 70 cents. And then I'm going to convince you that this is the bull market and we're going for new highs. And then bam, I'm going to sell all of mine right back to you because you're in a good spot to buy. And I'm going to wait for a much lower place to buy again. That's how I'm going to make money. I don't care about you. I just want to make myself money. That's how they think. And you got to start thinking like them.
And I agree, Tim. And I'm actually looking at the real fast. I'm going to do this and we'll kick it over to T-Shroom to start with the stuff. But I do want to show you this real fast. This over here is the Bitcoin longs versus shorts and Ethereum longs versus shorts. And currently right now, the Ethereum shorts are up 9.52% versus longs at 1.88%. Okay. But Bitcoin shorts is down 2.44% versus Bitcoin longs down 0.11%. So it looks like Bitcoin longs and shorts, people are starting to get uncertain and they're pulling back on it. And it looks like the Ethereum shorts are starting to get really, really heavy. And you know what happens when everybody is shorting? Every time it happens, somebody goes, oh no, you're not making all this money, just shorting it all the way down. They flip it, they squeeze it, and bam, off it goes. So, yep. And it looks like Bitcoin has already slowed down on what people want to do with it, short on it, long on it, whatever. I think Ethereum is going to be right behind. And if it doesn't flip really soon, then we're going to see that short squeeze come on the market as a whole. So.
Very, very, very good. Well, guys, go ahead and smash that like button. We got almost 130 people here watching. Thank you to everybody. Smash that like button because we're about to transition a little bit away from crypto, get into the stock world with your favorite stock analyst in his newsroom, Mr. T-Shroom. T-Shroom, what are you seeing in the markets as a whole? I know you're going to cover crypto a little bit, but what's the stock market looking like this morning?
Well, let's go ahead and dive right on into it, Tim. It's looking like the S&P and the Nasdaq are opening green here. 3 minutes into the New York session open, Nasdaq actually just ticked back red, so it can't make up its mind there. But the Dow Jones is red, hasn't been green since I've been taking a look at it here. But I would have to say overall in the market is undecided as it continues to react to some of that economic data print that Piper hit on early in the show, and just the continuation of the Tesla earnings and earnings in general, which we will be getting into here in just a minute. But let's go ahead. Let's not forget about energy here, guys. Natural gas is ticking a little bit higher this morning, but also pretty undecided. And then oil is markedly up 1.2% this morning. Let's take a look at oil, looking like it may be finding some support here at kind of the midline of this range that it's been trading at. So nothing really groundbreaking there. It's flipped the dynamic reactor back red on the daily chart. There is oil. So I'm thinking probably the oil producers are having a little bit of an upside day today in the first couple minutes of the trading session. Let's go ahead and take a look here at crypto. Crypto across the board is mixed. That's pretty interesting. Usually there's harmony in these in these names, there's usually going either red or green, but today you're seeing a lot of discontinuity. Gala looks like it's leading lower. It had a huge day yesterday. What did it get up to, like 11% or something like that? But it's down 2% today. Cake making a little bit of a comeback, up 2.2% this morning. And let's see what else. BNB is going to take the cake this morning, no pun intended, up 3.2%. Is your biggest gainer is BNB today in crypto watch list, at least my watch list. Of course, there are cryptos out there, I'm sure, that are doing better than BNB this morning. You got gold, you got silver. They're both getting sold off. Gold a little bit more aggressively than silver this morning, down 0.5% there. And yeah, so not seeing money rotate into metals, but you're also not seeing money get sold out of equities yet. So there's not really much rotation at all, other than oil getting bought up. All right. Microsoft moving to the downside, down 0.7% this morning. Amazon with an aggressive open here, guys. This is the biggest surprise that I'm seeing so far. Finally, a little bit of color on the screen. Goodness gracious. Here's Amazon making a move to the upside. I think this is because their earnings are coming up pretty soon, and they may be looking to shatter expectations to the upside. So it's been able to push through this major line of support here, guys, both in this last section and in the current section, getting out of this trade ban and finally pushing forward and making a little headway, keeping that dynamic reactor green on the daily chart. And that is Amazon. Yesterday in bro time, I was asked what would be a good place to put to diversify into if you're already heavyweight in crypto and in metals, and my answer was Amazon. And if you'd acted on that non-financial advice, you'd be doing pretty good this morning, up 2.2%. I know that might not sound a lot to our crypto heads, but this is a lot for at least the first 6 minutes of a U.S. equity, especially the multi-trillion size that Amazon is. Moving along, guys, Tesla's down 0.5%, excuse me, and Meta down almost 1%. So mostly red names there on the mega cap tech stock watch list there, except for Amazon and Google, keeping it green, and Amazon obviously turning heads there, getting a little bit of a shock to the upside. Very nice there from Amazon. Bonds down. Bond yields are down marginally. Your 2-year still staying above 4% there, and your benchmark 10-year up down 0.7% this morning to rest right around 3.5%, still with a backwards yield curve there. The Dixie, not really changed too much, down just barely 0.08%. So nothing really to call there. Just a slight rotation out of the dollar, you could kind of say. Cannabis getting a little bit of a positive, waking up strong and perky after a big 420 yesterday. You see Mary Jane, MJ up 0.3%. Let's take a look there. Ooh, man, it has not been kind to the cannabis charts here for a long time. Let's zoom out to the weekly, guys. Yeah. Anybody who was hoping for a cannabis spike yesterday on 420, man, you were disappointed. Look at this. This is just basically the entirety of MJ, which is the main ETF for cannabis, the sector of equities. This is not a crypto. And it has just been a bloodbath. But a lot of folks expect this to really turn around and make some moves to the upside once we gain federal legalization and descheduling of cannabis and THC here in the United States. Moving into our mid-cap tech stocks, you're seeing pretty mixed here. Coinbase is down 0.3, not a whole lot of downside there for Coinbase, which is always encouraging this morning. AI still not getting bought, still continuing to slip lower and lower. I think it's got to be. Oh, I'm way zoomed out here. Give me just a second here, guys. But I'm always interested in C3.ai because it's the big AI story, and it's getting very close to this line of support that obviously you've seen once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and now 5 times. It has been able to bounce off of this and make new highs 3 times in a row. But this last bounce was not able to put in a new high, not even close. And so more than likely, we're going to go ahead and push back down, maybe even test this dynamic reactor there on the daily, probably around $18.30 something cents. Low 30s there for C3.ai. Maybe a time to scoop up the AI names, though, guys. That's kind of my thought is that these are more of a buy the lower they go. So big banks here selling off. Wells Fargo down 3%. Wow, getting a major haircut here in the first 9 minutes of the New York Open. Goldman Sachs down 0.6 there. And that makes sense because it has had a shellacking earlier this week when its earnings really disappointed people. You like that word, Tim? I know you like shellacking. So
I always love when you're just not ready for it, and then it just comes out of nowhere. Those are my
yep,
favorite words.
that's right. Goldman Sachs trading below its dynamic reactor there, and looks like it's not going to be able to hold in the equilibrium range from chart prime. So that's not good for Goldman Sachs. Not that I'm rooting for the big banks, but here you go. So my hypothesis is actually not supported. The oil producers are not able to capitalize this morning. Money not rotating really very aggressively into the oil producers after a pretty decent boost there in oil, up about 1%. So that's going to round out our market open. Nothing really surprising me here. I mean, Wells Fargo is down very markedly. I'm sure there's some news on that. And then Amazon getting bought pretty aggressively this morning and having a nice little gap up. Those are going to be kind of the biggest surprises for me. So let's go ahead and get into some announcements. I'll go ahead and kick off the announcements. Essentially, what I want to bring to everybody's attention is that I will not be in Miami. I told you guys yesterday I have duty to the United States Army, specifically the Florida National Guard. I have a duty. And I know that it was going to come with sacrifices, and it's unfortunate. But one of the sacrifices is that I will not be able to attend Bitcoin 2023, which is unfortunate. I will be at drill, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a weekend duty for folks who are in the National Guard per state. So that's sour news on my part, but we're pushing forward. We're stronger than ever. I will be in Austin next weekend, actually. So looking forward to that from the 26th through the 28th, I think is when I fly back out. We'll be in Austin there at Consensus 2023. Super excited to see you all there. So any other announcements there, Tim or Piper?
Yeah, well, share my screen here really quickly because this is going to change literally today.
What do we got?
For the free price of free, we have 2 spots left to be
There you
considered
go.
in the first 3,000 subscribers to the Investing Bros channel. Again, guys, I cannot tell you how excited I am about how fast we have grown, amazing you guys are, and how quickly this channel is going to continue to grow as we're getting closer to the next bull market. Of course, we all know right now it's still attendance is low. Views, it's funny, every other channel views are dropping. Of course, because we're newer and we're younger, our views just keep getting better and better and better. That's part of being a younger channel. But here in this next bull market, I still have a prediction, guys. I think this next bull market, we're going to be pushing closer to 100,000 subscribers. But you guys can be OG, part of the first 3,000. And again, there's room for about 2 more of you. And the reason why you got to do that very quick to be an OG here is because today we should be getting more. I will be having a very busy day today. At 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will be appearing over with Mr. Paul Barron on his channel. So make sure you guys in the Investing Bros community come show some massive support. Paul Barron's got a great show on it. He does some great stuff over there. So I'm super excited to get to join him. And then tonight, I am back on ATB around the blockchain. Should be fun. This is my first time being back since I have officially, well, I'm not officially there. I'm not on the payroll just yet, but some of you guys know I'll be joining the HIT network here in just about a week or so. May 1st is my first day.
Tim, can you refresh that? Can you refresh that screen for me?
I'm sure as I said it, we probably got it. Oh, well, we got 2 of you. There we go. Well, it's closed now. But make sure you guys come show support on ATB. Come show support on Paul Barron. Again, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Paul Barron, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for ATB. Guys, let's show people how amazing this community Investing Bros absolutely is. Like I said, we always say this at the outro, but one of the things that's really important to us, to T Shroom, to Piper, to myself, is we not only want to be an amazing morning show for you guys that helps you guys see what's happening in the market when you're first waking up. We also want to build a very collaborative community that helps each other grow and invest and change our lives for the better. And then when we're doing that, when we are making our lives better, I'm a very firm believer that one of the best ways to continue to develop as a human being and support yourself and your family is to begin to look for people around you. We want to be known as the most generous YouTube community, not even just crypto. We want to be the most generous YouTube community out there. And to show you guys how passionate we are, one of the things that we do is, again, is a channel making millions of dollars a month? Not yet. Maybe here in a couple weeks. Who knows? I don't know. But 20% of everything that comes in, super chats, sponsors, affiliate links, our Patreon members, we went ahead and decided early, no matter how much money we make, whether we make $2 a month or whether we make $1 million a month, 20% of everything that comes in will be going back out to charity. So you guys know that when you're in this community and you're supporting us and you're buying links from the affiliate links and you're joining our Patreon, you not only will be benefiting yourself and help and learning more and more each and every day, you're also going to be a part of something super special, and that is the most generous community in all of YouTube. That being said, that is all the promos I have today. Thank you to everyone again for getting us to 3,000. This is amazing, and I cannot wait to see what the next couple months bring. With that said, though, I think T Shroom, it's time to send it back over to the newsroom and get into our news talk because we got some juicy stories to discuss this morning.
That we do, Tim. Well, thank you for those announcements. And Piper, thank you for those sound effects. 3,000 subscribers, guys. Very, very honored to be a part of this. And thank you guys so much for subbing. And whoever had some extra YouTube accounts to go sub really quickly to close that gap, thank you all for that. That was really funny. All right, Bitcoin mining difficulty rises 1.7% to record high. And the hash rate jumps. So for those of you who don't know, Bitcoin is mined. It's not like Ethereum and Cardano that are proof of stake. Bitcoin is very much proof of work. So let's get into some of the details here. The difficulty changes roughly every 2 weeks and is a measure of how much computing power is required for mining blocks to be rewarded with Bitcoin. The mining difficulty reading came in at 48.7 trillion at block height, almost 800,000 in Thursday's adjustment, following a 2.23% rise in the previous adjustment on April 6th, according to data from BTC.com. Well, we took a look at BTC.com so that you can see that indeed we are reaching an all-time high here for the difficulty. Very, very interesting stuff, guys. So, Tim, I want to throw it over to you. What is most remarkable about this for you? What gets you excited?
Well, the thing about hash rate, you gotta remember this. It's the same thing. We gotta go back to the price of anything. You gotta bring back in supply to demand ratio, right? So we were talking about this earlier. Someone asked a question earlier. I think it was Elliot Locke, but asking about silver versus gold, which is the better hedge against inflation. I believe his point was that at the moment, silver's more overextended. I'm explaining this for a reason. It's because while maybe in short spurts, silver could outpace gold, long-term, gold's going to be better than silver because gold is harder to produce. The act of going in and mining more gold out of a gold mine is way harder than mining silver. So what you see happen is when the price of silver is super low, you're not incentivized as a silver producer to go and mine a bunch of it and get a bunch of it out, right? But when the price starts to go up, you want to go in there and do the work. Well, the easier it is to produce, the easier it is to increase the supply. And if the supply continues to increase at a very fast rate and the demand is not matching it, price goes down. That's the law of economics. So transition this over into the crypto world and Bitcoin, when it's easy to hash, when it's easy to mine Bitcoin, when the rate hash is low, miners can just be producing a bunch of it, very, very easily, right? And so the supply is going to be increasing. Even though we're getting closer, we don't have many more Bitcoin, only a couple million left to mine. The easier it is to build the supply. And therefore, we're going to see people kind of react and say, okay, the demand's not going to match it. The price should come down a little bit. As the hash rate goes up and as it gets harder, the supply gets less and less, but the demand keeps increasing. That should bring an increase to price. And we see this thing happen. It's the question of which comes first. Does the price increase and that makes the hash rate go up, or does the hash rate go up and that makes the price increase? Nobody's 100% certain, but we do know from a more longer term scenario, when the hash rate's increasing, that's a bullish sign just because of following the laws of economics and supply and demand ratio.
That's right. That's right. And for those of you who may have doubted Tim's wisdom here on this, I've actually asked ChatGPT, what is easier to mine, silver or gold? And ChatGPT 4 said silver is generally easier to mine than gold. So that's just the straight up quote unquote truth of it. And some of the reasons are the abundance, the concentrations of silver deposits tend to be found in higher concentrations. And then the extraction process is a little bit easier for silver, less complex for silver. And then the mining conditions. So silver mines are generally shallower and more easily accessible. So we all knew that. Tim, I'm sure you knew all of that, but I just wanted to bring it to.
That's what I was going to say. The scientists have found there's just a lot more silver left to be mined, and it's not as dangerous to go get it as it is to get gold. Again, for those reasons, there's gonna be times where silver's price outdoes gold, but it's gonna be very short lived because again, as silver price continues to increase, and especially if it starts to outpace gold, guess what? There's just a bunch of silver miners who are like, all right, let's turn those mining tools back on. Let's go back and get some more because we can make a lot of money right now, and then that slows the price down. So long term, if you're just looking at gold and silver, you want to get into metals, and you're like, I'm going to choose one of these. You might have moments in time where silver outpaces gold, but long-term, gold's going to outdo silver every single year.
Yep, that's some astute analysis there, Tim. I would not recommend metals at this point in time too much. If you already have some, if you don't have metals at all, then yeah, I would absolutely look into metals as an investment, as a diversification strategy. But if you already have a good amount of gold, a good amount of silver, you're more than likely pretty well positioned to do well if there is a severe recession here in the second half of 2023. Well, let's hear from the man who may have contributed to that recession here. Not to put too much on his shoulders. I don't think he's directly responsible, but we have a clip here from the video has surfaced of Gary Gensler stating that Ethereum is not a security. So Piper, go ahead and roll that clip for us. This has been shocking the nation and certainly the crypto community here this morning.
All right, let me get it going here. Here we go.
Vitalik wanted to raise money. He was maybe 19 years old. He looped in with a venture capitalist from Canada, Joe Lubin, who now runs Consensus. Lubin took about 10% or 9.5% of the offering. They put 9.5% in a foundation called the Ethereum Foundation, and the other 80% was sold to the public for $18 million. We'll talk later in the semester as to whether that was really a securities offering. I publicly said I think so, but that was in 2014, and in 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission has said, regardless of what it might have been in 14, it's now sufficiently decentralized that we'll consider it not a security.
Boom. Back on. Yeah, I mean, he says it right there, T-Shirt. Like, does he say the words Ethereum's not a security? Not verbatim, but he literally says, due to the decentralized nature of Ethereum. And I understand some people are going to say, well, since Ethereum's moved to proof of stake, it's a little less decentralized. We saw a thing on this, I believe, I think it was on Blockchain Basement here a couple weeks ago, and they were showing the different cryptocurrencies and how decentralized they were. No one's beating Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the top. Cardano was falling close behind, but Ethereum is still, compared to other things out there, extremely decentralized. And so if we're going to stick with what he's saying here in this meeting, what he said was, if you are decentralized, then that means that you are not a security. Of course, he's going to try to finagle and go around this. He's going to say it's back in 2019. But this is very big news that even according to the words of Gary Gensler, Ethereum should not be classified as a security.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to my screen, There is some important details here. This was while he was lecturing at MIT on a blockchain open course just shortly before he was appointed by Joe Biden to the head of SEC. So he was lecturing students, telling them what he believed to be the truth. Undoubtedly, I don't know why you would go and spread what you don't think is true to MIT students. But this was also, he was then representing the SEC. He had been officially appointed by that point in time. So his words had a lot of gravity in that. And who's to say if these students didn't go forth from that lecture, and maybe they didn't start Web3 companies, but their friends, or they began partnerships to start Web3 companies predicated on the fact that Gary Gensler, at this point in time, who should have been seen as a very reliable source, was saying a legal fact about a asset that they were basing their business off of. The fact that he would just say something like this and then totally regulate in a different way, and it is just preposterous. And I hope that Congress is going to fire him. And it looks like there's a lot of force right now. We're seeing this clip is being brought to bear right now for this very reasons, because everybody is trying to present as much evidence to congressmen and women to get this guy out of the chairmancy of the SEC, so that there can be some real freedom ringing here in the United States. All right, well, that is the Gary Gensler story. Piper, did you have any thoughts on this before we move on?
I do not. No,
Okay.
I think that I mean, this has been beat into the ground. Like, well, I do have something to say about it. Because things change, right? And just like when he said how Ethereum started out, made it a security, but because over time it got decentralized, it now is a commodity, according to the other head of the SEC that he's referred to. I think that that's what we're going to see with a lot of the crypto out there. However, when we look at something like Polygon Matic, I think something like Polygon Matic, because so many of the wallet holders, with the majority, so much of the Polygon is held in a very few wallets. I think you're going to see a lot of people go, okay, we've got to offload. We need to spread this out. I think you're going to see this force other tokens projects into more decentralization to avoid the SEC's targets. So,
yeah. Nope. I agree.
I think the last thing I'll say, T-Shirt, last thing I'll say here is, let's keep in mind here, the other day he's sitting in front of Congress. He refused to answer if Ethereum was a security or not, when he very well knew that inwardly he thinks it's not, but he's being paid or told, or I don't know, something that he's saying he's being incentivized to hold it off. And this goes with what we were talking about earlier. Piper's right. This is a topic that probably gets beaten down, but it's something that people just need to remember and keep in mind and be aware of, is that there definitely, absolutely, 100% has been some corruption inside of the U.S. government to at least I think it'd be strong to say stop cryptocurrency.
no,
First of all, that would be
come
impossible.
on, Tim.
It's
No.
stifling. Like, they just want to stifle it. Are they stifling it for CBDCs? Are they stifling it for something? That would be my vote. Would probably be they're stifling it for CBDC creation. The point here, though, is that this is just very clear. The more that this video circulates to kind of anyone who is on the fence, who maybe doesn't do a lot of research and doesn't know that much about how blockchain technology works or Ethereum works, and maybe they are leaning towards, hey, should we give Gary Gensler, who all they know is he's the chairman of the SEC, they don't know all the terrible things that he's done and said and how he acts. They might be tempted to be like, oh, is he right? Is Ethereum actually a security? Is it a danger to society? So to see this video and to see this video go viral around the internet is very, very good, even for not just us who already know this to be a case, but for people who are potentially sitting on a fence about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's an interesting guy, and we'll get a little bit more of him here over the next couple of weeks. But my guess is that after a couple of weeks, he probably won't be too much of a factor. You'll hear a whole lot of him when he's getting fired. But I think after that, he'll be He'll be on the way out. At least that's some wishful thinking. Well, there were some folks that had some wishful thinking, but those wishes came true. And that's the folks that are behind the first U.S. nuclear-powered Bitcoin mining plant ever. And it's been deployed. So let's read a little bit about TeraWolf, which has announced today that the company has now fully energized its 50 megawatt stake in the Nautilus crypto mine facility. It is the first ever U.S. nuclear powered Bitcoin mining plant. The Nautilus facility is the first of its kind. The mining facilities are powered by more than 91% zero carbon energy. That is very, very impressive and very sustainable. The company successfully deployed its full share in phase one of the nuclear powered Bitcoin mining facility. Again, 50 megawatts. Very, very interesting, and big congratulations to them. We shall see how this goes, and definitely be bringing you all any developments in this story, kind of as it develops. But we are getting close here to our question answers section. I want to read you guys one more headline, and that is that Gemini has figured out that if you threaten to leave the United States, you get to be in the headlines again. So Gemini has flagged big plans for Asia with India hub and regional CEO, but Gemini is not something that I would trust my money with at this point in time. If you guys have your money in Gemini, it's not that it's not safe. It's just, you may want to do a little more research and think twice about it. But anyway, Gemini trying to get on the opportunity to get a little bit of free PR, a little bit of free marketing. And you never try to miss an opportunity, guys. That's for sure. Well, that's going to round out our stories. Now let's go ahead and get into our earnings report. Procter & Gamble beats earnings estimate, raising revenue forecast as price rises. Guys, this was the most exciting earnings report yesterday. So obviously not a big earnings day, but earnings per share for Procter & Gamble was $1.37 versus the $1.32 that we expected. So that was a beat. And then revenue of $20 billion versus 19.3 billion expected. So that was a beat. So Procter & Gamble doing really well, and you kind of needed that. That's a very big conglomerate here in the U.S., so they're doing pretty well, and we're proud of them over there at Procter & Gamble. Keep buying those shampoo and everything else that they make. What else does Procter & Gamble make? I don't know. Toilet paper, probably. They make pretty much everything you can get at Walmart, I think, is kind of the case there. So their estimated earnings, again, they're beat. Yeah, really not too many other names here that are super well known. HCA Healthcare had a pretty big beat. That was a Y margin, so pretty much overall nothing too crazy there. So absolutely. Well, let's go ahead then. That'll go ahead and round out our earnings. I actually wanted to show you guys a fun little game. And if we have time today, we'll play it. It's a fun little game. You start a chat, and if you are talking to a human, you guess human. If you're talking to an AI, you guess AI. And there are humans and there are bots, and it will tell you which one you're talking to after you guess. So maybe once we're done, we'll play a little bit of this game. And but let's go ahead and get into the Q&A.
Yeah, we got to start that off here with a super chat from Elliot Locke. So starting off, thank you so much, Elliot Locke, for that. He says, here's a Canadian stock for T-Shroom, FCU. Thoughts on the uranium mining industry stocks and ETFs? As an American, am I able to invest in it? Side nugget, PB&J coin is going to flip ADA, ETH, and Bitcoin. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's going to happen. We do need to have all the chaos of what I'm doing moving, and then we have Austin coming up for these guys. We probably, when all of that settles down, we're going to sit down, Elliot, and we're going to find out how we're integrating PB&J coin into the Discord and our Patreon stuff. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, after many jokes of me joking about a coin called PB&J coin that didn't exist, our good friend Crypto Sec Guy went ahead and went and built it, and we're going to find a way. Please, I mean, just in case anyone's wondering, do not ever think that this coin is a store of value of any kind. We are only going to use it within our Discord to have fun, and it will not really be ascribed to have much of value whatsoever. So just want to make sure for lawful reasons, I make sure I clear that. But on the joking side, it will rule the world, and it's going to be the most powerful and best coin out there. Let's go and jump in that. T-Shroom,
Yo.
what are your thoughts here? FCU, as an American, can he buy Canadian stocks? Any immediate thoughts, or you're going to have to do some digging on that?
I took a look. I cannot buy it on Robinhood, so I would expect that you'd have to get an over the counter exchange. Like TD Ameritrade sometimes lets you do it, but I'm not going to get a TD Ameritrade account just to buy this stock. It is in the discount range. If you're looking at my chart, it is in the discount range on the daily. So if you have reason to believe that this has a strong thesis, it's not a bad time to buy. I will say that it has had a strong sell-off. The market has agreed day after day that this is not a stock to buy all the way through this period in time. Had a little bit of a pop here, but continued lower. So I think enough people know that this stock was overvalued up at this range above 82 cents, and they did not agree. So I would watch and see kind of how the price moves here over the next week or two before I bought into this. But I also just don't believe in the thesis. I don't know enough about uranium. I would imagine that there's definitely demand for it. Obviously, people are jumping over each other to try to buy uranium to sell it to countries that the United States would never sell uranium to. So there's definitely demand for it, but I don't know what I don't know much about that thesis. So I would say I would not buy this because I don't know enough about it. And then looking at the stock chart, I would absolutely give this more time to kind of settle around, because it's entered this new range of discount. So I would give it some time to kind of settle and see how it goes from there. With that said, if you believe in this company, if you know that it's profitable, you know that it's good, you believe in the CEO and kind of their vision, and you're looking to invest, I would say now is probably a good time to invest. That's, again, if you know and you believe the thesis and you know that it's a sound company. That is not something I've been able to confirm in just the short time I've been looking at it. So you don't want to, just classically, you want to buy low, you want to sell high. It's low right now. So if you have reason to believe that this thing is legit and it could keep going, now buying it as an American, a whole nother story. I would guess that you probably can't, but it wouldn't, if you really believe in this, it's probably not going to be impossible to buy Canadian stock. I know that a lot of the cannabis stocks are Canadian companies, but you're able to buy them as an American on Robinhood and other exchanges because they have listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So the fact that this is not readily available for me to buy on Robinhood does not send me good signals that you can purchase it as an American.
Good answer there. Well, we're going to jump in here with other questions. What we're going to do is anytime we get a super chat, those will definitely be prioritized because people are donating money. So thank you again to Elliot Locke. Thank you to everybody who ever gives super chats as well. But I did ask earlier, and I want to kind of address these, and you guys can go ahead, if you want to click on that, the Q&A thing, you can click on it. I want to hear you guys' hot takes. If you guys have other questions, this will be a really easy place to see your questions. So you can even go ahead and put them there. But I asked you guys earlier, what are your hot takes? I told you guys, my hot take is that within the next 12 days, something breaks that changes the FOMC's mind, or at least makes us believe that they could change their mind, and we start to see a prediction that we're going to pause, and then potentially we actually do see the FOMC say, you know what, in May we're going to pause because inflation's under control. That's going to be their excuse, even though we know it's going to be a different story. They're going to say inflation's not that bad. We're going to pause for now, see how it does, and then we'll go later. That's my hot take. I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to be the catalyst for why we see crypto probably have a good run here in the next couple of days up into the Bitcoin conference. Some other ones we've seen on here. Bob did ask, any chance on getting opinions on Algo and or TA on ING? Yeah, so we can do some on that. I think we did some Algo yesterday, Bob. There's a chance we can touch on that again, but we did not do ING coin. So Piper, if you want to jump on and look at ING coin, that would be great. Elo Brown gave his hot take saying Doge becomes a world currency. What's a meme coin in the future? Question mark. Good. Okay, hot take. Doge becomes a world currency. Out of curiosity, I know Piper, as you're looking at Engine, but still, I'm gonna give your take here in a second. T-Shroom, what do you think about that hot take? Doge, it becomes. He says world. Oh no, he said world currency. So he didn't say a world currency, or he just said world currency. So what do you think about
that? I think it's crazier that it wouldn't happen. No, I think that Doge is world currency is not an official classification. If you mean world reserve currency, then I think it's got a long ways to go. I think the next step that would lead me to believe that the world is going to take Doge more seriously is for Elon Musk to use the Dogecoin blockchain to underpin the security system for Twitter and for other of his other projects that he uses. I know that he likes to sprinkle in the meme of Dogecoin on different things, but I still think that while he does believe in the tokenomics of Dogecoin, by he I mean Elon Musk, while Elon Musk believes in the tokenomics of Dogecoin, which have an interesting use case and interesting utility, I think that he does still see it as what it always has been, which is a meme coin. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have utility. It still does, but it is a meme coin after all, and he's the lord of the memes in one way or another. So I don't know how serious you are asking this question, but I don't see Dogecoin being taken seriously as much as like an XRP or an AVAX, or obviously a BNB in Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But if it ever was going to reach that status, the next step would need to be something along the lines of it making a big partnership with a Twitter in a real actual technological way, not just a brand association and meme association. Or a company like Microsoft or a company like Amazon have some kind of integration. I don't see it happening though overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's honest. And honestly, I mean, these are hot takes. So it doesn't mean people that say these things are making an absolute prediction. But I think it's an interesting one. I don't think it's going to happen to Elo, but I think it would be funny if like maybe we see multiple like world currencies, and that's what crypto does for us. And maybe Doge is one of those. It's like, hey, you can go to a local store and you can buy in Bitcoin, you can buy in Ethereum, you can buy in Cardano, you can buy in
Yeah.
Doge. That would be awesome. Piper, any thoughts on that?
I'm working some TA over here, man.
I know. You got a busy job. We'll go to the next one. Here, go to my screen here real quickly, though. Or not my screen, my face here, Piper, while you're working on that, though. Yeah, not doing TA yet here. Next one, Crypto Trucker Mike. I like this. I don't know if I fully necessarily agree with it, but it's interesting. Crypto Trucker Mike says, my hot take is that we print a red candle this month, and then come late May, early June, we see a major pump for Bitcoin. Then altcoins will follow. Until then, it's blood in the streets. 100. Actually, it's funny. Crypto Trucker Mike. That's actually pretty close to what my hot take is. Is that we're waiting for something within the next 12 days to go ahead and get a catalyst. We got about 9 days left. We have 12 days until the FOMC. We got 9 days left in May. It's gonna be a tight stretch. Like, are we able to turn the candle green? At the moment, the month of April is red. Do we close it out like that over the next 9 days? The other part, I would say, like, I almost think the catalyst that makes this go up comes a little bit before the end of May. So that's one place I'm similar to you, but I slightly am different. And then I don't think we make it into June. I think the rally. I would be very happily surprised if we make it through the Bitcoin conference and keep moving to the upside. I think it's going to be, according to how we've seen this happen in the past, somewhat hard to keep rallying into Bitcoin conference. I guess we've only had a couple of them for reference points, so that's something that should be kept in mind. But historically, we rally into the conference, and then everyone's expecting, this is just how manipulators and whales kind of work. Everyone's expecting this super cool conference that's going to have a lot of inspirational speakers and a lot of cool people getting together. It's like, oh, why shouldn't price go up after that? That's not really always how the market works. Sometimes news that seems like it should be bullish is met with a good sell-off, and you see price go to the downside. So we'll see. I think possible, absolutely is possible. I don't know if it's likely, though, but good hot take, Crypto Trucker Mike. I love it. With that said, if you guys have other hot takes, the best place you guys should put them, if you're commenting in the live chat, I'm reading the questions at the moment. So make sure you click on that link at the top of the chat. Give me your hot take, and then give me your hot takes in there or questions you have for TA. Piper, are you ready for ING?
I am. So I'm looking at a couple of things here. One, like, it keeps having these big spikes of volume, and then it just dies. Like, it just, nothing, flat. And it's been that way for a long time. It does look like the price is trying to come up, but without this volume, I believe this is going to actually fall back down. And one thing that I've learned from our good friend Crypto Archie is always go look at the circulating supply. There's about 500 million
Oh, wow.
of circulating supply, but their max supply is 5 billion,
Yeah,
which
bad
means,
news.
yeah, this is bad. I think there are way, way better crypto tokens out there to get into than ING. If you want to put something in it and go, well, it's still got it's still a small cap. Let me go ahead and try to grab into it. I mean, sure, you could go for that. But just know that, not financial advice, but when I would look at something like this, it would be a very, very, very micro percentage of my hodl bag. And I would expect that it's gone as soon as I put it in there, and hope that my $100 lottery ticket, if that's what I put into it or whatever, does something. But the tokenomics don't look very good on it. And the volume that it's running on is just sad. It's very sad. There's a lot of price manipulation and volume like that. So that's either like a community pump or some people trying to pump it up and get it back up. Because if I go back here and show you, once from its launch, you see it did this massive, did this massive run up on this one single candle. And it has just been nothing but a downward grind of little small pumps that come in with volume, and then just flat again. And that's all it's done all the way down. Like, I think this might be where it settles in at, I would hope. But yeah, it's not looking too good. I don't know that I've messed with Infinity Games.
Now, he just said, I don't know if this is the same one, because you're looking at Infinity Games. Bob just commented, he said, I meant INJ. It was a typo. So it's
Engine.
possible we just looked at the wrong one. Engine, yeah. It's possible we looked at the wrong one, because, yeah, the chart for INJ over USD is a little bit different than what I just saw that you were talking about there, Piper.
At least now you guys know. Don't go into ING.
Could you while I take a look, maybe share my screen, I can take a look at ING over USD. Could you though do the same thing with INJ, over that on core market cap? Because what I'm seeing on the price chart, we're seeing a very similar types of moves we're seeing like Bitcoin and Ethereum. In fact, it's pretty good here. I mean, let me go to the daily chart here and take a look at this. We outdid the April highs of 2022. We definitely, I mean, they're August highs, which is a really important thing. We talked about a lot of cryptos. Take a look at outpacing the August high. This was really easy on Engine, because their August high was very pathetic. They outdid it back here in November.
That token's injection.
What they did was they came back up here. This is injection. Injective protocol. That's a lowly. Same thing though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Man,
injective
it's hard
protocol.
To find Engine.
No, it's INJ, right? It's injective protocol. ENJ is engine.
You're right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. T-Shroom leading me astray, and I just went with it. This is where trust is lost, T-Shroom. I just went with it, and I should have known.
It's okay.
Better,
I'm a degen. I know all these tokens.
Thank you there. We got a little bit of a double top right here. We topped out at the peak that we had back here in February of 2022. So that's something that it's definitely want to break through that level for sure. But as we're coming down, I'm going to almost go and say kind of use a similar type of thought process here, although it already went below its wick here. I would say watch this 4-hour dynamic reactor potentially on INJ, and as it comes down here, I guess another one. Let's look at the hourly chart. Dynamic reactor. It might be above us here on this one. I just want to pull up. Yeah, we're above there. Yeah, kind of similar things we're seeing on Bitcoin. A lot of bullish calls that were kind of ignored. Let's see what 4-hour chart is doing here. Yeah, kind of ignored a bullish call here. I would not be surprised to see us come back down towards this 4-hour dynamic reactor, about 673, come back and meet some of this price right here. Let me do the last one that I want to do here. Let's go back to this bottom here. That's a good bottom to go and look at what we have Fibonacci-wise happening. Yeah, I mean, you're going to find that it's going to be the midpoint between the 0.386 and the 0.5. So interesting spot to watch 714 for sure. But there's also still a lot of things pulling it down even further down here. How much of a dip would that be is my other question I would ask, I guess. About a 13% dip versus an 8% dip. Yeah, that would make sense if we see Bitcoin dip about another, what do we say Bitcoin was going to do? I'm going to have to go away from Engine and done with that for now. But we're looking at Bitcoin possibly still looking at a 3% dip. We're looking at Ethereum possibly still getting a, let's see here. with our predictions that we made with it. 4% dip. It would not be surprising to see a smaller cap altcoin like that have a significant dip. What is Cardano's dip that we're kind of projecting? About 5. Yeah. So maybe that $7 mark, maybe only down to that 0.382 level on INJ, but watch that 4-hour dynamic reactor as well. Be a good spot for a bounce there over INJ. You can go off my screen now. Good question there, Bob. Sorry, there's a lot of confusion as to what we were doing with it, but good question.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's all good. It's all good. This is what we do, right?
This
So,
is
hey,
what we
guys,
do.
I do want to say on that injective, by the way, it's a layer 1 protocol for those that don't know. And it has 80% of its circulating supply is out. So that's really good. I would like to look at the wallets and see like how much is being held by how many people, because that gives us an idea of how centralized it is. But the guy that is the CEO and the lead of Injective Protocol he's got previous blockchain space and was also a prominent investor in Chainlink, Cosmos, and OX. So Zero Transfer, that old project there. So one kind of weak, one really good in my opinion, and Cosmos,
Cosmos is
pretty
good.
decent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here's a question. Here's a question I would have, because I know, because I haven't looked at the CoinMarketCap. I've heard in the past people have kind of said Chainlink is one that some people say it's decentralized, other people say it's pretty centralized. What is your thoughts about the centralization level of Chainlink and Cosmos? Because that could be part of the thing, is that like these are good coins, and by the way, guys, just because a coin is centralized does not mean it doesn't do well. It is just you're kind of putting your faith in the creators or the people that hold the majority of it. Good.
It depends on the integrity and commitment to the blockchain project of the people that are holding it at the end of the day. But again, like I said, I think that if the SEC does come out and says centralization is a key factor in a security or a commodity, I think you're going to see a lot of that change. So, which, a good time to do that would be when they go, this is centralized, heavily centralized, it's a security. People sell off, it gets down to that buy threshold, everyone scoops it up, and all of a sudden, now the token is decentralized, and a month later they can reapply as a commodity. So,
yeah. Bob just gave a super chat, so thank you so much, Bob. Said thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Sorry about
Bob.
the typo. No problem, man. Like if you guys have been watching this show for a while, we're perfect. So we never make mistakes.
Yeah.
Nothing bad ever happens. So Bob, get better. No, we mispronounce names. We mispronounce words. We type in the wrong things. That's not the first time that we started doing TA on a coin, and we realized midway through, we're like, this is not what they were asking for. So
It happens.
you are absolutely great, Bob. Let's see. Servando Estrada in chat.
Estrada. I got you. I got you,
Yes.
T-Shroom. I got you.
Thank you.
Let's see. We did just have another one come in, a question, and I'm not 100% certain what it is, though. I don't know if you saw this, T-shirt, but it seems like almost a question to kind of continue what we were talking about there by looking at CoinMarketCap and doing some evaluation. Aristrides says, have you checked multi-swap milk token? I think he's saying looks the tokenomics, but I think he means like look at the tokenomics. Like I think that'd be an interesting one because I don't have a ticker symbol for it. He didn't give one here,
Milks?
but Muse, what is that? MuseSwap milk token?
I think that's a Cardano swap.
I have no idea. That is news to me for sure.
That is built on the Cardano blockchain. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sunday Swap. Sunday Swap.
Muley swap.
Yep, and it is 5. They're self-reported, and that's never a good sign. Self-reported. The CoinMarketCap team has not verified the project's circulating supply. So I may want to go pull this up on CoinGecko. Let me do that because I don't like when I see self-reported. I'm going to self-report that we have 1 million viewers as of today. Never a good thing, right? So let me look here and see what we have for milk here. Come here, milk. Where you at? Milk. There it is. MuseSwap.
It's just a weird name too.
It is, isn't it? It is. Total supply is 10 million. That's their max supply. Fully diluted valuation is 10.8 million. Total value locked. Their TVL is 9.5 million. This don't look too bad. Like this is being used. I mean, it's being heavily held. How about that? And like locked into projects, but the volume on it is only 195,000 in 24 hours. So, but I don't see the circulating supply here at all. So that's what worries me when I don't see a circulating supply. But it's on Cardano. I'd have to do more research on this, but it's got,
This is like a could go either way for me.
yeah, it's a 50-50. Like there's some things that look really good and there's some things that are red flags in my opinion. So
Yeah, the fact that it's 50%, it's self-reported, but it's 50%. That is kind of a nice round number, 5 million milk on CoinMarketCap. It's a little convenient. You could give them a little grace and say, oh, it's just an estimate, I suppose. But, I want to see once I see a validated circulating supply, then I'm taking this a lot more seriously because it is a good underlying project potentially.
Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that they use Cardano for their blockchain. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
well, I was gonna say, speaking of Cardano and being used in the blockchain, Joe Nickel said, "What do you guys think about 88 dexes? I have both MinSwap. I said mini, so MinSwap and Sunday, and I'm thinking about leaning a bit harder in
On like the coins.
the dexes, MinSwap and Sunday swap.
I think that Cardano has amazing potential in the DEX field, but I don't feel that their transactions, their TPS is not high enough yet for a lot of traffic, in my opinion. They're almost there, but not quite.
I'm just not sure I understand the question. What does that mean to lean into a DEX?
I think utilizing them more and
Utilizing it more?
Yeah. That's what he's saying. Aristride says MuleSwap was, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but MuleSwap. I don't know. What is the pronunciation of that?
Muesli swap. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Muesli Swap. Let's go with it. Muesli Swap was the first DEX
Nailed
on
it.
Cardano before Sunday Swap, November 2021. Interesting. I do think the future, I do think that what Cardano builds, let's see. I'm not going to just default and say everything Cardano ever builds is going to be perfect. That's actually already been proven not to be perfect. There have been some projects built on Cardano that have not been everything we hoped and dreamed. However, I would almost, I guess I cannot back this up with evidence. So if someone wants to fact check me, and you would have every right to, because I'm not trying to say this with actual facts. It's more of like a leaning, like feeling that the percentage of things operating on Cardano going successfully are way higher than other projects. So it comes with a little bit of extra trust comes to it, but that doesn't excuse and just saying, oh, it's Cardano, so I just blindly trust this DEX or blindly trust this new protocol. No, you still need to do your due diligence, make sure it works. However, we know due to some of even the FUD about Cardano, because they move so slowly and they're so particular and they just want everything to be right, it does help ease your mind about saying like, hey, like this should be an easier ability for me to confirm that it's a good project. But again, still continue to do due diligence. Don't just trust blindly. It's something that every person is going to learn one way or the other. Hopefully you don't have to learn from losing a bunch of money. Let's see here. Any other questions I have? I did want to ask. We have like 3 minutes left. I gave a hot take. We read some hot takes. Piper, give me your hot take. And I'm going to limit it to, let's not go long term. I would say your hot take either within the next couple of days, weeks, or I'll give you throughout the rest of the summer. Give me a hot take that you think could happen. So by the way, hot takes are things that you're not necessarily predicting, but it's like no one thinks this is going to happen, or no one's really saying this is going to happen, but I think there's a good chance it possibly could.
Tim, you're not going to like this answer, or I'm pretty sure that there's some other content creators out there that I've been on their shows that are going to absolutely hate this answer. I got to go with XRP Army, #XRP Army.
Why would I not like that?
Well, because I get a lot of pushback when I talk about XRP. I think if they win their SEC case, they are hands down number one, the best risk to reward asset anywhere in the 20,000 plus that's sitting on there. They have been suppressed on price gaining for 3+ years. When it's opened up, the money that flows in is just going to absolutely rocket XRP. I think it's going to be the biggest reward gainer this entire run if the SEC loses their case. So,
yeah, I don't know why you thought I would hate that. I feel like I'm in complete
because
agreement.
every time I go on someone's show, they hate it. Their XRP haters are real, dude.
They're real.
Hey, that's fine if you don't understand tokenomics and suppress price for 3 years. I don't care what the project is, you know.
Yeah.
But tell me you don't understand tokenomics without telling me you don't understand tokenomics. So.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle there because there's some people who think that XRP is just done. It's just terrible. Like it's never going to come back. And then there's other people who are like, it's going to get released and it's going to make up for all its lost time, and we're going to see it like 50x or something. And I'm like, okay, let's slow down just a little bit.
Pump the brakes.
Let's slow down. It did get suppressed, and so I said this before on the show. I think that I believe that XRP, when you're looking at top at least 20 to 50 coins, maybe I don't know, 100. It's kind of hard to say there because something might jump in the top 100. But current top 50 coins, I believe XRP will lead this next bull market because of that suppression. But where some people are saying $30, I'm like, hey, let's calm down a little bit. Let's look at $17 to $20. I think is potentially would be an amazing run.
$20 is a 40x.
Yeah.
Tell me another crypto in the market that's going to do a 40x that's in the top 100, 150, 200. Like, it's just, I'm so bullish on XRP. Hashtag XRP Army. If the XRP Army's out there, drop a 1 in the chat. Let us know that you're here.
Yep. That's a great hot take. We're going to run a little over this, but T-Shroom, give me your hot take as we close this out.
My hot take is that I was hoping to play the game, the human or bot.
I'll tell you what you can do, T-Shroom, and everyone else can do as we transition away. Good hot take. You could just jump over on Discord and play it on Discord with our members. That if you want us to play the game with T-Shroom, you'd have to go join our free Discord for the free price of free and play with him over there. So make sure, link down below. Go do it.
I would do that, and I'm going to close this out with what Tyler Main just said because that's a fantastic point. If Coinbase moves to Bermuda, they can relist XRP.
True.
True. Interesting.
They absolutely
There's a lot of things they could do.
Food for thought there. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. This is one of the last 90-minute shows, guys. As we close out, we forgot to talk about some promo, but just in case you guys know, Monday and Tuesday, we'll have 90-minute shows, and those will be the last two. Because Wednesday, Piper's not going to be able to be on the show because he's going to be starting driving. T-Shroom's got to leave early because he's got to get down to Orlando. We're probably only going to have a 45-minute show on Wednesday, and then same thing. Because they will be in Austin and they need to get to the conference, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will more than likely be about 30 to 45-minute shows. We'll do some quick TA. If there's any popping news stories that are just phenomenal, we'll cover them. And then we'll get updates from them about what life is like in Austin during Consensus. Make sure you guys join in still next week because we will still be going live all 5 of those days. But it will start to look a little bit different starting next week. And then, of course, on May 1st, Monday, we will be moving back to an hour-long show. Similar formats, but there's going to be some shakeups, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. You're here daily. Turn on that notification bell as well so you don't miss a single piece of content. We love you guys. This is Friday, so we will have to wait about 3 days to see you again. But you guys have an absolutely phenomenal weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.